Hello viewers, welcome to my new tutorial series of deep learning. So before going to the application of neural networks, I'll be giving some theory. So there is a neuron of human being and there is a neuron. If I mark it out, so let's mark it out. So this is a neuron. This part is a neuron of deep learning. Okay, this part you can call as a single neuron of deep learning, and this part is a human being neuron. So what are the similarities between these two? So here, this part out there is known as dendrites. So you can see there are many dendrites out there, and this part out there is known as axon. So signal come to a neuron through the dendrite and goes out of a neuron through the axon. So it passes through it passes the signal through other neurons and it receives signal from the other neurons. So it can receive more than one neurons or only a single neurons, and it can pass its signal to a single neuron or more than one neuron. So in the same way, this is a neuron out there of deep learning, and you can think of just this cut this out. You can think just this one is giving input out there. So I have one neuron, I have one dendrite out there, so just cut this out. So I have one neuron and one dendrite, and for that reason I am getting inputs from only one dendrite, and after that I weights the input. Okay, so after that I weights the input and get a y, and this y is passed through a activation function. Okay, and this activation function will produce either 1 or 0. Okay, so if I compare this exactly to the human neuron, so it will receive signal, and if it produce a threshold value, okay, this is the threshold value out there, then the neuron himself will fire. Okay, and passes its signal through the next one. So this neuron out there, if it gets a threshold value, then it will pass the signal through, pass the output of one to the next one. So let's go for a activation function. And you can see this is a activation function, f of x equal to 1 by 1 plus e to the power minus x, and this is called sigmoid function. So if I pass out there, so let's say I want to pass y that I got through this function, then it will produce 1 if the value is greater than, let's say, a. So let's say this is a. So if I give the value, if the value of y is greater than a, then it will, the neuron will fire. Other than, the neuron will produce 0. Okay, so this is for only one input. So let's think I am thinking of more than one input. So for more than one input, you can see there is x1, x2, x3 and up to xn. So there are also weights for every inputs out there, and it will weights each of input, and after that it will sum them up. Okay, so let's go out there. So let's say I am getting x1, and it will weight them with y1, and it will have a bias also. Okay, 1, and then it will produce y1, and similarly for y2 will be produced by x2 y2 plus b2. Similarly for yn equal to xn wn plus bn. So how do we get the value of w1 b1 w2 b2 w and bn? So for getting the values of w1 b1, we need to train our model. So why do we train? So that I can get the w1 and b1. So why do we feed a neural network? Why do we need to get the get data to train a neural model? Okay, so the reason is that we don't know w1 and we don't know b1, we don't know wn, we don't know bn. So to get this value by the process of optimization, I think you know optimization. If you don't know, I will suggest to go to my machine learning tutorials. There I have put a tutorial for optimization where you can get the idea of optimization. So these are the y1 y2 yn up to yn. Then I will sum all of them. Okay, so if I sum, then I will get a, let's say y, okay, let's say I will get y hit. So this is the sum which you prove. Then I will pass this one and it will produce 1 or 0. So this is how this is how a single neuron works. So what about multi neurons? So let's say I have a neuron out there. So there are multi neurons, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, there are 5 neurons. Okay, each are independent from one another. So it will get input from here, 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 3 of them, and it will also get here, here, here. So each of neurons which will have different weights, and it will pass their output through the next layer, and in this way the neural network forms. So let's see an example. So this is a leaf out there. I will be giving the input out there, and these are the neurons. It will get from each of them input, and it will get input from each of them, and it will get input from each of them. Similarly for this one. And when the there is 2 neurons out there for output, and it will get input from here, here, here. This one it will get here, here, here. So and each of their lines will have different weights. So let's say this line has y2, and this line will have y3, this line will have y4. So the weights out there will be different. So each of that line will produce different results. So ultimately, through the process of optimization, I will get one result as this one and one result as this one. So if the leaf is of this shape, it will produce this result, and if the leaf is not of this shape, it will not produce this result. So this is how a neural network works, that is deep learning works. So let's see a deep neural network. So this is a deep neural network. Just sweep this out. So there are layers out there: hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, hidden layer 3, hidden layer 4, hidden layer 5, and this is the output layer. So it will take input from one layer, and it will pass the inputs through layers of neuron, and ultimately produce the desired results. So this is how deep neural network works and deep learning works. From the next tutorial we will go for code, and see you then. Thanks for watching.